Russian Federation for the month of November. Your Excellency of the Russian Federation, Mr. Sergey Vershinin, you have the floor.
The speaker cannot be heard.
Minister Vershinin, your microphone is muted. We cannot hear you. Minister Vershinin, your microphone is muted. We cannot hear you.
His Excellency, are you with us there? My brother Sergey Vershinin, the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation.
Please, do you hear me? Yes, okay. Спасибо.
Thank you very much.
Спасибо.
You had a
господин
fantastic October presidency, and we thank you. And we're grateful to have received the baton from you for the.
Спасибо большое.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, it is a great honor for me to deliver a statement from the Foreign Minister of the Russian Federation, Sergey Viktorovich Lavrov, on the theme of today's meeting, Peacebuilding and Sustaining Peace, Modern Factors Behind Conflict and Instability. I wish to begin by congratulating Mr. Ralph Gonzalez upon the presidency of St. Vincent and the Grenadines of the United Nations Security Council. This is an event which is significant not merely for your country, but also for all small island states whose independent voices need to be heard at the Security Council. The proposed theme of the debate reflects the concerns of many countries who find themselves under difficult circumstances in the face of mounting complex security-related challenges. This emphasis is particularly relevant at present when we have all been encountering a fundamentally new, utterly ruthless challenge. I refer to the COVID-19 pandemic. Coronavirus has yet again borne out a lesson from history, namely that there is no alternative to cooperation, responsible conduct, and mutual assistance. Unfortunately, not all states embrace this approach. They continue to prioritize egotistical, parochial interests. There's a broadening practice of levying unilateral sanctions, which thwarts the efforts of states to combat the pandemic and to surmount the socioeconomic consequences thereof. Under these circumstances, we wish once again to voice solidarity with the call of the United Nations Secretary General, Mr. Guterres, for a global ceasefire, which also includes the lifting or suspension of illegitimate restrictive measures. What is particularly relevant, given the current circumstances, is the initiative of the Russian President, Mr. Vladimirovich Putin, to establish so-called green corridors, free of sanctions and trade wars. This would help to ensure that vulnerable populations gain access to basic necessities and medicines. Distinguished colleagues, those colleagues most acutely requiring international assistance are countries treading the fraught path away from conflict towards a lasting peace. In the provision of such assistance, there's a need to be guided by the principles of primary responsibility of states themselves for crafting and implementing peace-building strategies and priorities in a way that reflects societal needs and requirements. Each specific situation requires each unique approach, absent automatic and imposed ready-made solutions. This also pertains to crisis prevention efforts. We are troubled, incidentally, by attempts gaining ground to establish so-called universal indicators, conflict indicators. This creates opportunities for abuse and intervention in domestic affairs with the aim of exerting pressure on so-called undesirable governments. I specifically refer to attempts to portray human rights violations as virtually the main driver of crises. We believe that a successful settlement of armed conflict and mediation lays the foundation for addressing human rights issues, as well as lays the foundation for sustained socioeconomic development and the resolution to ecological and other issues. We do not deny the interlinkage of these issues within the context of the maintenance of international peace and security. However, we believe that, for example, economic difficulties do not automatically lead to insecurity, and vice versa. Moreover, we believe it is fundamentally important to have a division of labor between the main bodies of the United Nations system, each of which body is called upon to operate strictly within its mandate. I would specifically refer to the discussion of the climate agenda. At the Security Council, we believe that climate change does not constitute an omnipresent factor behind conflict and global instability. In this connection, its impact upon the socioeconomic and political situation in a number of countries and regions needs to be considered as applies to each specific situation. A leadership role in these efforts is borne by specialized bodies of the United Nations. They possess the relevant expertise and mechanisms to craft long-term solutions that help to ensure an effective fight against climate change. We fully concur with the concerns of our friends from small island states, and we intend to help them adapt to climate change, both through national development assistance institutions and through universally recognized international bodies, including under the United Nations umbrella. At the same time, we support cooperation and the pooling of efforts of various United Nations bodies, where appropriate and where agreed to by all member states. We would note in this connection the role of the United Nations Peacebuilding Commission. The PBC is a consultative platform for crafting post-conflict recovery strategies in host countries on the basis of their priorities. We advocate the development and reinforcement of dialogue between the Peacebuilding Commission and the Security Council and ECOSOC. Distinguished colleagues, once again, we wish to thank St. Vincent and the Grenadines for drawing attention to modern-day security threats and challenges. We are confident that a candid and open exchange of views will help to facilitate an effective quest for solutions to these pressing issues. Thank you.
I thank His Excellency, Mr. Vershinin, for his statement.